I recently just dropped this gigantic drum and bass project file for Ableton, and I thought, you know what? It's time for a breakdown video. So I'll go through my favorite tips and tricks I used in the track so you can use them in your own D&B style. Let's get into it. I feel like I have too many things to cover, but I want to keep this tutorial relatively straightforward. First thing, most important thing from this track, I covered it in a tutorial itself, tension and release. The concept of like building tension and then releasing. Like the name says, I do this through bass a lot on this track. Firstly, establishing the tension with a massive bass stab just in your face. And then adding a lot of automation in the secondary bass. So the bass initially comes in with barely any low end and quite a short staccato sound, and then progresses over time with this automation to get louder, introduce more bass, and introduce more release on the sound, so the sound becomes elongated. Okay, so it's just the saw way of doing a few things. But stacked so. Then you introduce the bass there, it's a little bit more release, but then it's the tension and release within the drop. It's like two tension and releases, the fake out. Drums come in, all the sub bass comes in, that's a bit of a release. Then it goes back to this tension element, which is just opening up the filter, making the sound louder and just more pronounced. I feel like it's all about using dynamics and the frequency spectrum to your advantage. And yeah, that's quite a cool concept that like Camo and Crooked, Mephius use all the time, which I want to use in more and more tracks because it's so underrated. We'll just dive into the drums real quick. There's going to be no method to the madness here. And if you're like me and a big fan of the drums, you'll notice the snare is popping straight away. Like you can hear a little bit of a snare tail. That is a very cheeky technique as well. Main actual snare, nice and slappy. But to introduce just a little bit more with another snare, a little bit too much. Kind of add that extra snare tail, which gives your drums a bit more character as well. Like it's super blended into the mix, like I can just hear that, but it's just enough character to add the little bit of extra spice. Jumping into the bridge, a nice cool little thing is having these massive delays in between the notes. So instead of just playing down, it's like ground, if that makes sense. So if I went and quantize all of these. So there was no delay. I mean, that's okay, but introducing delays on these notes. It's just a different feel, and the subtlety of like the time delay in these notes. I don't know, I feel like it's the small things in the track. That's what I'm getting at. It just makes so much difference. Like there's a point in doing this too weirdly. I mean, that actually sounds pretty floomy, but yeah. Just playing around with having like bass locked into the grid and then the higher kind of melody notes, just a subtle delay. I think that's a cool thing to take away from this video. Back into the drums with this fast-paced bridge. The hi-hats are carrying the team, honestly. These very fast 16th hats. Doing a lot of the heavy lifting for that groove. And I achieved this kind of sound through the grain delay, weirdly. Normal hi-hats with some weird EQs, but introduce the grain delay, turn sync to time, 1 millisecond, and then adjust. I feel like this is a really neat trick with drum and bass. Load in some 16th hats and then just grain delay, change the pitch, change the character. It will make your sound wider as well since it is grain delay. And yeah, just find the sweet spot. And into a composition idea, notice first drop. Nice and cool. Second drop. Foghorn. Third drop. You'd expect a fake out, wouldn't you? Nah, I'm flipping the script straight into it with the third drop. Something completely different, massive switch up, no fake out. I want to catch the listeners off guard. So 2 times fake out, 1 time straight into it. It's kind of like making your listeners expect the unexpected. Just like tension and release, super, super underrated. So this absolutely stonky bass. Hyper and saw wave and noise and a few bits and bobs. A lot of distortion to create, yeah, this. I feel like this drop goes through different progressions. So introducing with the, first of all, got your bass stomp doing something. If the higher lead was doing the same thing, it wouldn't quite sound as cool as shifting a few of these notes up in the same scale to create some unique harmonies. So like, just finding notes that work. Just finding variations of that main bass melody with harmonies. It just sounds so, so cool. Okay, now you can see 2 MIDI side by side. So bass is playing a B and harmony is playing F sharp. They're both kind of saw wave-esque sounds, so it works really well together. Fluctuates between harmonies, and then this is G sharp and this is also G sharp. Octave up, yeah, D sharp to A sharp, 2 different notes, so harmony again, fluttering in between the 2 to create some sick, sick combinations. And but for this last kind of 2 bars on this, you'll notice, if you can remember before, something's missing. Another lead to provide the extra harmony and just... But I didn't have it playing at the start. Save it towards the end. Just introduce, like I said, progression. It's just a massive progression, this drop. So sick. Another lead for this next bit, but this one's just doing its own thing. It's kind of here to accentuate the other ones with a cool auto pan trick. Kind of like a gated sound in a way. It's just like a super cool tremolo in combination with bass doing its own thing, saw wave bass for the harmony, saw wave lead extra on top, and then this random lead. The frequency spectrum overall is sounding insanely, insanely full with stacked saw waves. It's just, yeah, a cool way to make a full sounding drop. Introducing like the OG kind of over the top of your new idea. It's just the best of both worlds. And lastly, before we go, a classic trick of high passing your basses in the build up so your audience kind of get teased with what's about to happen before they actually kick in. So which is sick, and I also do this on the build of this pluck. Just tease it in. A little bit of reverb sprinkled in there. Before, not quite. Tension and release, there we go. So yeah, those are my favorite tricks on this project file. If you did want to get the complete project file, you need Ableton and Serum, and saying that the stems are there as well. Yeah, I'll leave a link to that in the description and the comments as well. If you want to check that out and download it, the link is there. This was such a fun project file to make. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two in this tutorial, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!